showtime. Let's go. Pints in my hand, politics on my mind. We ride above it, toast.
Is this the Lil Wayne?
This is the Lil Wayne version.
Inspired?
Yeah.
Gotcha. Went down that rabbit hole.
Yeah. We gotta decide on one that we start using for clips and stuff. So for our constant between our two listeners, make sure that you give us a vote. Tell us which episode the song that you like the best.
There you go. I enjoyed that one.
Yeah.
And we'll keep playing it the rest, during the breaks.
Yes.
Welcome back. Pints of Politics, episode
91?
91. That was a good year. Yep.
I barely remember it. I was still in elementary school.
Thanks for our sponsor, Comer Distributing, for providing this week's, as always, tasty beverage.
VOODOO Ranger Hard Charged Tea. Peach.
This is peach. And like you do with sweet tea, I poured it over ice because it's kind of sweet.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't taste like beer to me. It
tastes like a Bellini tea, like you would get at Olive Garden. I don't even really taste the alcohol.
I've never even had one of those.
These could be dangerous.
Yeah, it tastes more like tea than beer, but it's sweet to me.
Yeah.
So putting it on ice, let it water down a little bit, tastes like a glass of sweet tea to me.
Yeah. If Cheerwine could have picked up the same thing with that.
Yep. So we just had a very, very busy week. I mean, the pace of this past week.
It was too much for some of us.
I guess, right. I guess it's good we only do it 2 weeks out of the year.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, you got a little overworked, a little exhaustion.
Yeah. I mean, so we had.
And that was what, Thursday?
Was it Thursday or Wednesday?
No, it was Thursday.
Yeah, it was Thursday.
Yeah.
So I had to start off at a Senate hearing ad hoc committee for Labor, Commerce, and Industry, which Shazam was getting heard through. We only have, at this time, 4 legislative days to get the bill out of committee, onto the floor. And with it being an ad hoc, it's not as if it just advances to the floor. So it's still going to require some work there. But I'm sitting in that ad hoc meeting at 10. Our session gavels in at 10.
Yeah.
So I start getting anxious because I realize I'm missing session to be at the Senate hearing.
Yep.
Testify. ADF's attorney testifies. Then next up is Net Choice. And for those of you who don't know, Net Choice is the big bad guy within the tech world. They're the ones who are always suing.
Yeah.
And you know what? Come to find out, I don't think
they're always advocating for the Metas.
Yes.
The Googles.
They're the attorneys.
Big tech.
Yeah. They fight any law that we pass. They're the ones suing for the age-appropriate design.
Yeah.
But I don't think that she's a registered lobbyist.
Okay. She's an educator?
Well, no, coming in to advocate for or against a bill, you must be a lobbyist.
Oh.
Or a lobbyist principal.
Right.
And I don't believe that they are either. So I'm digging into that. So that might be some fun.
Gotcha.
But then we had Meta come in. I've never had Meta appear before a committee.
Well. So
this was the governmental affairs person for Meta, arguing against Shazam, advocating for my other bill, the App Store Accountability Act.
That's funny. Oh, that's good.
But I couldn't testify, but of course I get a little worked up sitting there. You can feel my adrenaline. Matter of fact, somebody sent me a message and said, the way that you looked at that person from Net Choice, I don't ever want to be on the receiving end of that look.
Oh, so you weren't even giving testimony?
I gave testimony, but I wasn't able to question them.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So then that upsets me more because it's like I want them to appear before one of my committees.
Right.
So I can really question them and show how disingenuous they are.
So, and this will be, a fun fact. I get really anxious when I have to go speak. Like, I do not like public speaking at all.
Yeah.
And people are like, wait, what? So when I tell people that, especially I tell kids a lot that, when I'm talking to kids, I'm like, hey, do you like public speaking? They're like, no. I'm like, yeah, me neither. And they always give me like this laugh or puzzled look. And I'm like, I know. It's funny where God puts you, right? Face your fears, young man. So
I don't have a problem with the public speaking, but I did, in my opinion, I did not do well on my testimony. Like mine kind of goes blank in the middle of it. You're bouncing around. Right. My folder that I had all of my notes in from the house version of Shazam.
Yeah.
Was in another vehicle, so I didn't have that with me.
So you did give testimony on...
I gave testimony on it, and then we moved on, but I could not question them.
Oh, gotcha. Speaking of, we're talking about all this public speaking anxiety and stuff you're going through. Folks, May is Mental Health Awareness Month.
Yes.
And we neglected to talk about this last episode, but it's a very important issue. It's a growing issue, especially among young people. Representative Guffey is always talking about this. So we want to recognize that May is Mental Health Awareness Month. The main theme is, folks, you're not alone in it. If you're feeling any sort of mental anxiety, depression, whatever, please talk to someone, whether it's family, a pastor, even a professional.
And if you don't have someone, 988.
Yeah.
Dial it.
Yep.
Or, look, my cell phone's public.
Yeah.
Whenever we were there, you know how often I was on the phone 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning trying to help people.
Yep. So just wanted to plug that, wanted to just highlight that because, again, on how it affects me with the medical component of it and it affects you on just your personal crusade, it's very important. Just remember, kids, adults, whoever, you're not alone in this. If you're struggling with mental health, any issues, please seek out some help.
And remember that tomorrow needs you.
Yeah. So,
all
right. So back to your mental health struggles
breakdown
on Thursday.
So I leave and I'm a little worked up. The bill passes out. Senator Johnson, Senator Bennett, Senator Tedder, everyone questioned well, brought up great points.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, I would not, and Senator Davis, I would not want to be on the receiving end of getting questioned by Senator Davis and Senator Bennett and Senator Johnson.
Thorough guys.
Those three.
Thorough gentlemen.
This is Director of Governmental Affairs. So someone who's dealing with this on a national level.
Yeah.
And you could just see the fear that kind of suck in whenever they started questioning the meta rep. But anyway, so I come out, I walk into the chamber, and as soon as I walk in, I start pouring sweat. Kind of the feeling of you ate a vitamin on an empty stomach.
Oh, yeah.
And then I start getting nauseous, run to the bathroom, dry heave, and I was like, okay, my blood pressure must be through the roof right now.
Yeah.
So I go up to the doctor of the day, and
that's right.
They check my blood pressure. It's high, which it has been for a while. I have a physical coming up. And they decided to do an EKG. On the EKG, they suggested that they call an ambulance and take me to go get a heart cath.
And that's when, after you did that, you came to just let me know.
Yeah, I was like, let me up, take these things off.
you had to go talk to the clerk.
Yeah.
To get the excused absence.
Yes.
And when you told me that, I was like, wait, what? A cath? And I was like, well, do me a favor. On the way to the hospital, grab a water.
Yeah.
I mean, at least hydrate.
They gave me a Coke. That's what you're thinking. He was like, quit drinking that Coke, drink water.
But anyway, yeah, man, that was a wild. And then I see you back, 30 minutes, an hour later?
Yeah, and I'm back on the floor.
Yeah, I go, what? What happened to the cath?
But I called a family member that's a doctor, ran through the EKG with him, and what he said was he thought that I just had an adrenaline rush and a cortisol flush. Kind of made me feel that way, but scheduled something with my primary care because I wasn't having any other symptoms.
Yeah.
And it was kind of there and gone very quickly. So I'm glad I didn't have to go to the hospital. But yeah, you want to talk about raising blood pressure, raising anxiety. Let somebody tell you, oh, we're going to take you in an ambulance to get a cath. And you're like, no,
hey, I've been
not
there.
going to happen.
I've been there before.
They're like, we can be discreet. Yeah, I don't care.
Right. Yeah, so my week, that was your Thursday. My week started with a full committee meeting at 10:30 on Tuesday, and the medical subcommittee had passed out several bills. One of them that didn't make our full committee agenda was Senator Tedder's bill, which deals with adult dependents. So folks who are from the age of 18 to, I believe it's 26, that could still be on their parents' insurance.
Yes. I have one of them.
And that and that bill, it was, I think, inspired by a tragic situation that happened down in the Low Country where parents had an adult dependent, so someone who was, above 18, who was going through a mental health emergency. And when the parents tried to get him some admitted, because the child was over 18 and did not want to
Be admitted.
seek the help, the parents couldn't make him, and tragically, that ended in suicide. And so this bill was inspired by that tragic situation to where it would give parents, as long as a parent and the physician signed off on it, an adult dependent could be admitted, temporarily be sort of confined.
Could that be like the Britney Spears situation?
In a medical conservatorship? No, but this specified for only 48 hours.
Okay.
Right, during a mental health emergency. Now, again, while that bill and what it's seeking to do, especially for the tragic reality of what happened, I support, and that's why I voted that bill to get out of the medical sub a few weeks ago. It didn't come to the full committee because once we passed it out, I went and sought some legal advice because there's no attorneys on 3M. And so I went up to Judiciary staff, committee staff, and asked them, hey, I need to understand all of the civil liberties and the due process concerns in this bill because you are basically saying that someone who hasn't committed a crime, hasn't harmed themselves or anybody else, doesn't have their legal rights to, pursue happiness. You know what I mean? And so, and again, the spirit of this bill is great. And we just need time to work on it. You know what I mean? And so, I had several conversations with Senator Tedder and sort of gave him the bad news that, hey man, we're not gonna be able to get this to the floor and get it out. And understandably he was a little upset, which made sense.
As with any bill that you're championing,
yes,
you don't want to hear no. Even if, and I've had that conversation with senators.
Yeah. And so it's an unfortunate reality of this time of year in session to where we have 3 working days left, and to try to get 124 members to coalesce around legislation like that has it just triggers a lot of questions, especially from our attorneys who are our colleagues in the House.
Yeah.
And I went to them. I went to the Val Guests. I went to the Todd Rutherfords, the Justin Bambergs. I went to the attorneys and said, hey, and
all the Democrats.
Yeah, Val Guests. But no, and they all said like, man, this could be potentially very problematic. We need to double check.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so, and I told Deion, Senator Tedder this.
And he's an attorney as well.
Yes.
So he should understand.
And I told him, I said, hey man, even though I know you're fighting hard for this, we're not going to get to it. I will work with you in the off session to get this prepared for if I get elected in November. Come back in January and let's start working on companion bills because I know it's important to him. I know it's important to that family and a lot of other folks down in Charleston, but across the state, right, who have this issue where they have an adult dependent who is experiencing a mental health crisis or an emergency. What do? You don't want to call law enforcement.
Especially if they still live in your home.
Correct.
You're still paying their bills.
Yep. And right now, the only alternatives is to call law enforcement. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you don't, folks, we've got to seek and find alternatives to mental health. And when you're experiencing a mental health emergency and crisis to where maybe, and again, maybe it's someone with special needs, right? Maybe it's not even a mental health emergency, but because they're bigger than their parents, they're 20 years old, they get violent and beat up a parent maybe. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We've got to figure out other solutions than just lock these people up, right?
Well, I mean, just the anxiety that I got whenever they said they wanted an ambulance. Like, whenever you feel like your choice is being taken away, that creates an elevated anxiety to where you kind of feel like you're trapped.
Yep. And so, again, I mean, we're talking about this bill. It is Mental Health Awareness Month. It's just, there's just a lot of gray areas, right? Where you're how do you deal with whether it's a special needs or how do you deal with a 20-year-old who's experiencing a mental health crisis? You want to give them medical support and familiar, support your loved ones. You don't want to lock them up.
True.
You know what I mean? And that's just a question that our state is going to have to start finding solutions to because, again, there's a growing population of folks who have fallen to these cracks, and you can't just lock them away.
And we are having, I mean, just across the country, we're in a mental health crisis. As I was looking at some things, actually just this past week, if you go back and you look at when we started treating mental health versus how much it's went up, it almost seems like the more help we're giving, the worse it's getting. Or, my opinion is, I think sometimes we are getting further away from faith. We are sometimes treating counselors as our faith.
Yeah,
on how to move forward.
So, in construction, a large portion of what we do involves safety, right? Because you have to work safe.
Right.
And like when you work around utilities and all those types of things, there's processes and procedures that you do that have to ensure a safe work environment.
Yeah.
And when things don't go according to plan and you have an incident or a near miss or whatever it is, we have what we call a root cause analysis. And it's getting to the root cause of why that incident occurred. And I think sometimes the environment of which we live in, especially the political environment, does not allow us to ask the hard questions of, hey, does a two-parent household have something to do with this or the lack thereof? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Does and so does poverty play a role in, you know what I mean? And so all these things, you can't, for some reason, you can't ask those questions. You can't say, you can't encourage. I mean, the statistics show that if you stay out of jail, you graduate high school, right? And I think, what was the family report last year? Like, you don't have an out of wedlock child.
Yeah.
You have a far greater chance of success in our state.
And just third grade reading levels.
Just those three sort of factors. And yes, they are tracing it all the way back to third grade reading level. And those are some of the hard issues, I think, that have not been addressed. Right?
I will say, as I went in for my son's education evaluation, they ask all these questions. Yeah.
Okay.
And because he's doing very well on some things and just struggling at reading. And so they ask all these questions. Like,
he's not in third grade, is he?
He's in second.
Okay.
Yeah.
You still got some time.
I think we might even, we just found out that he's dyslexic.
Oh, wow.
So, I think we may hold him back and try to ensure that he is getting the work, because in third grade you start reading to learn instead of learning to read.
Oh, gotcha.
But the questions that were on there, maybe I should have answered a little bit better, because they're like,
What do you mean? What are the questions?
Well, I mean, you get things like, was he premature? And it's like, how many weeks?
You're asking the dad?
What age did he start walking? And start asking questions about, I don't want to even say it's race, but I know I answered a couple of them, like, your mama's house. And
right, you didn't take it seriously?
Well, I mean, it's frustrating to me to have to go through so many questions for something that it's like, okay, I don't see the correlation, but as you were bringing that up, it's like, maybe the statistics are there for a reason.
Yeah, I could have contributed to this.
I might have to redo that one.
Yeah. I'm reminded of the Nate Bargatze line where he says the school called him to come pick up his sick kid, and he was like, you called the dad, right?
Right.
and the school was like, yeah, he's sick. We can't get a hold of the mom. And he's like, okay, what's the school's name? Yeah. Tell me where you're located.
One of the questions.
This is reminiscent of that whole bit.
One of the questions was for my email address, and I put do not email at yahoo.com.
Under duress.
That's what you sign the contract, so they don't give you an option to.
Yeah. So anyway, we talked about a little bit of committee work and some other responsibilities. Also, on the floor this week, I did have some responsibilities. We did pass out the ivermectin bill, where it no longer
Senator
needs...
Kilmartin, or Representative Kilmartin.
Yep, it no longer needs a prescription. It's not over the counter; it's behind the counter. So we had some pharmacists that I talked to that just brought up some concerns that pharmacists may have, and they said, "Hey, if we could put it behind the counter, that way we can do an initial consultation. We can." Look at the person, get their weight, make sure we got the dosage right, all those types of things. And, just inform the patient. So I think the bill as we passed out really balances, sort of that medical freedom of being able to get the drug, but also some informed consent to where the patient's informed in the proper dosing and those types of things. So we did pass out the ivermectin bill, and it is over now in the Senate. We've got some, Hail Marys that it may get through and pass to the Senate, but we'll see.
You're going to see the games with languages getting put in bills.
Yes. Yeah. And man, was it just me, or did you see more senators in the House chamber?
Oh, yes. Back and forth. Even our speaker at the time, which was Davey Hyatt, had to call down senators that had rushed over there to talk to someone, and it was causing a rush.
Oh, yeah,
it was right behind your desk. Go figure.
Yeah. Calling order, Senator, please take it outside.
Russell White or Deion Tedder come over there. It's going to get loud.
Absolutely. So yeah, this time of the session, folks, there's a lot of collaboration, I would call it, between the House and the Senate, and it reminds me of like, hey, everybody's picking up my game plan here, because I am always over in the Senate. It seems like trying to make sure I'm on the same page, or I've got a champion over there that if we pass stuff, we can always trying to work together with our senators. And now it seems like this 2 weeks, everyone's running across the lobby to try to see, whether it's their bill, they're the primary sponsor, or it's maybe just a bill that they have supported and it's a priority for, say, the Senate or the Senate caucus. So yeah, folks, it's like Black Friday, at the mall.
It is.
Now. I mean, it's just people rushing around. I mean,
look, I'm going to tell you, like, I'm an adrenaline junkie. These last few weeks, I love that adrenaline of you don't have enough time, so you get stressed, but whenever you can make something happen, because too often, it confused me before I got elected, you see these posts, we passed this, and then we're thinking, like you're talking about, we passed ivermectin. Does that mean I don't have to lie about my pawpaw having a horse if I get a Tractor Supply down? No, it's still got to go through the Senate. So we're still going to have to come back and get that through. But we can take a win on it passing the House.
Yeah.
But it doesn't do the citizens any good if we don't ratify it into law. So it's got to get through the Senate.
Yep, that's correct.
So you have to learn to work with both chambers. And I hate the rhetoric of, well, that's not our job. That's the Senate's job. And if you have to make friends, you have to gain consensus, and you have to earn the respect of other people.
We talked about it last episode.
And you'll see games, and a lot of people don't know about it, but in the Senate, a senator can put their name on a bill and stop it from being heard.
Yeah.
You take off one senator, and anything that comes over with your name on it, they're going to put their name on it to stop your bill from getting heard in time.
Mm-hmm. And it happens a lot.
Yeah.
That happened to me this past week. I, got on a list.
Yeah.
And every single 3M bill that was in the Senate got blocked.
And on our side, we asked for unanimous consent. Yeah. The funny thing is we watched as one unanimous consent was brought up and it was objected to because it hadn't been through committee. Well, that ticked off a rep in the House. So then any unanimous consents she was objecting to.
That happened to this guy right here.
And usually if it's the chair that makes the request, then people go along with it.
Yeah. So, and again, sort of stringing together my week with Senator Deion Tedder. So he also had a bill in my committee that was a easy slam dunk vanilla type piece of legislation. It was basically that the Department of Public Health was going to post seizure first aid posters or pamphlets in government offices, right? So just helpful, like in your office, you probably have a labor law that's got minimum wage stuff and that kind of stuff. That's where that poster would be put. And it's just helpful instructions, easy to understand of if you have a colleague that you work with that falls out having a seizure, you know,
have it there.
This is how you respond. And I was like, okay, I'm going to pull that from, because it's in 3M committee. It passed out the Senate already. And that's a good piece of legislation. It should be unanimous, right? So I asked during the unanimous consent period to pull it from the committee straight to the floor, and I would ask everyone to vote on it at the appropriate time. And Senator Dion Tedder is a Democrat from the Charleston area, and I went around and let everybody know what I was doing, told them about the bill. They said, oh, that's it's not a big objectionable issue. So yeah, we won't object. The one person I didn't talk to was Annie McDaniel down out of Fairfield. And and she's like 3 seats away from me, and she goes, objection. And I'm like, what? And yeah, she told me, she was like, I got irritated that y'all objected to this other one, and so I'm objecting to everyone. And I'm like, well, okay.
Well, hey, I had an objection this week too.
And again, folks, that is the life we live these last 2 weeks. It's just...
Well, everything's moving so fast, it's hard for anyone to be fully aware of everything that's going on.
Yeah.
And you don't have enough time. Whenever it's 124 people, you don't have enough time to talk to every single person.
You do not. You do not. And, I did unanimous consent requests on probably 3 or 4 bills this week. Got them all except for that one. So I'm going back at it. I'm going to get in the batter's box on Tuesday, and I'm going to do it again.
I put up a budget proviso this week. And it's the one that I had done before whenever Brian Sterling, before he became U.S. Attorney, was over our prisons. He brought to my attention, and as I'm dealing with sextortion and these schemes, we learned that a lot of this is being done within our own prisons due to us not being able to block airways or any cell phone signal. So we're not able to use jamming technology. Now, the first time I did this as a freshman, Philip Lowe, who was the Ways and Means chair, basically sub-chair, stood up and basically gave me consent to move forward, and I should have walked away from the well. Yeah. Instead, I didn't, and Annie McDaniel stood up and raised germaneness, and it was thrown out because it did not have a dollar amount in it.
Oh, man.
I just wanted the language so we could challenge it in court. I didn't propose it last year, but I decided I was going to go ahead and put it up as an amendment this year again and try to get it through. I went to Annie and said, look, I understand this is non-germane because it does not have a dollar amount. I want the language in there to not force prisons to use jamming technology, but to give them the option. So that way, if we have to take it to court, then we have some language in law. And so I had that conversation with her, and she was like, well, I don't know. You might want to do it whenever I'm not in here. I was like, okay. So I go ahead and I make the motion, and then Spencer Wetmore stands up.
Gotcha.
Which, look, no, she's an attorney. She's
I know.
Used to work for municipalities.
There
she's
is some
strict.
FCs.
Yeah. And got it thrown out. So I had to mess with her whenever I ran into her. I was like, oh, you want prisons and or cell phones in prisons.
Yeah, so we're talking about some small victories. I also got a proviso in the budget and got it added to our budget, and we'll talk about the House budget. Well, and we can talk about it now. We did pass out the House budget. That's going to go to conference, and the conferees can have fun sorting all that out. But we had a bill on 3M. The medical subcommittee adjourned debate on it because there was a discrepancy. Basically, what this bill did was it set up a fund to for our firefighters, volunteer and professional, to get annual checkups for cancer screenings. And PFAS screenings. So there was just too much work to get done. We couldn't get the bill done, but we still wanted to help the firefighters out. So in a collaboration working with Representative James Teeple out of Johns Island and Mark Smith out of Berkeley County, we all put our name on an amendment, went to Ways and Means chair, worked it out, and got a $7.5 million proviso to help out our firefighters and pay for those all-important preventative screenings.
This is a 1 year, not a continuous.
That's right.
That way we can get the bill through.
That's right. So that was a small win to help protect our firefighters. Obviously, prevention and getting those annual checkups is a huge thing, especially for our firefighters who are, I would say, are just in a more high-risk environment.
Yeah.
So
and as we were doing the budget, I think the narrative that the Freedom Caucus started putting out was $300 million of wasteful spending and everything. And look, you get a list of everything that people have requested that Ways and Means has reviewed and said, we can fund this, we can't fund this. Do you agree with everything? No. but
Right.
we're fighting to try to bring money back to our district to help out. I was fighting, my big proviso was for Rock Hill School District.
Yeah.
For the ATC Center. And, that was my number one. And then many of us within York County signed on to many others.
Yes.
But we get that list through, and immediately the narrative comes out. $300 million, we only had 60 minutes to review it, and all of these people just voted to waste this money. So I'm sitting beside Thomas Beach, my desk mate, which has been a blast this year because we kind of go back and forth with each other.
Yeah.
And I pull up his post and I copy all the text. And I said, watch this, Thomas. I'm going to take all of your text and post it on my page. I used his picture, his text, and then I just went through and edited. But instead of saying we spent $300 million in the budget, I said this year York County brought back $9 million back to our community, and then listed everything that it come out in, and continued to mark, change the wording. Instead of 60 minutes to review, those of us who really wanted to bring money back to our community have been working on this for many months, working with the committee chairs, working with our delegation, and fought hard to ensure that our firefighters, that our schools, our municipalities were being taken care of.
Yeah.
And,
Vital infrastructure, whatever.
And it was so funny. He looked over, he was like, that's pretty good. He was like, so it was kind of some fun just to kind of show how easy a narrative can be completely flipped off of the same image and the same information. Neither one of us were lying in the information there.
Yeah, right.
So a little bit of fun.
That's right, baby.
For any of you that want to see the difference between the two.
Yeah, right. And so now, in the next segment, we'll talk about the big headline news of this week. It wasn't passing out a budget. It was our sine die resolution.
Sine die resolution.
And so we'll talk about that because that sine die resolution included language that allowed us to look at U.S. congressional seats and the redrawing of those district lines,
which we don't have back yet.
So
and sine die is supposed to be Thursday. At 5.
Yep. So we'll get to that in the next segment. All right, you want to go rip one real quick? This episode of Pints of Politics is brought to you by Comer Distributing. Comer Distributing Company is a wholesale beer distributor located in Rock Hill, South Carolina. Founded in 1971, Comer is a family-owned business that distributes beer and other beverages to York, Chester, Fairfield, Lancaster, Kershaw, Lexington, and Richland counties.
I'm really liking the song.
I know, right?
Yeah. So I want to make sure that I give a special shout out. Last night, or actually, should I say earlier in the year, we always have Leadership York County.
Yep.
So these are business leaders and community leaders that kind of come together, and they have a class once a year. They always pick out something that they want to help out with in the community. Fortunately for me, many of the people wanted to help out with less than 3. They loved the message, and they said, how can we help you?
Yeah.
And, of course, I'm so busy I can't keep up with all the different ways, and whenever it comes to the board, I'm not really involved in that. I just do the speaking. And so I put them in touch with the board, and what they wanted to focus on was the mental health aspect and education and resources for teens that are in need or that are having trouble online. So they come together and they created these little business cards with a QR code on the back of them that teens can carry in their pocket. And whenever they take a picture of it, it sends them to the resources that they need, paying for a landing page. But that landing page will also give GPS details so we can see if there's a hotbed spot within the state that these
like
scammers are targeting. So then we know that, okay, we need to have a conversation with community leaders there. So they're making sure the teens are aware.
Nice.
Wonderful idea. But in addition to that, they wanted to do a fundraiser and an event for the community, which we had last night at South Point High School. Luckily, Rock Hill Schools came in and said, yes, y'all can use the stadium here to do this event. And they called it Step Into Tomorrow because tomorrow needs you. We had Matt Tucker from Matt Tucker Band came out. Matt Tucker also wrote a song called Tomorrow Needs You. And he performed it live. It's not released yet, but I'm looking forward to that release.
Nice.
We had groups such as Mama, NAMI, Piedmont area was there. We had Crime Stoppers there, York County Sheriff's Department there. Resources and educators throughout the community to come together for all the teens and parents that showed up.
That's awesome.
It was a great event, and I want to say thank you to the leaders within Leadership York County. We even had the Strawberry Queen from Fort Mill come south of the river.
There you go.
Come down to help promote, and her thing is about educating teens about the cyber issues, how algorithms are affecting our minds.
Nice. This feels like just a ripple effect.
Yes.
You know what I mean? It's just one of those ripples that occurred when you jumped into the legislature and informed us all of this, again, the tragic thing that occurred with your family and just how you've approached that with strength and courage, and commend you for that, man.
Well,
It's
you know,
awesome.
the Strawberry Queen, what I do love, as much as I feel like everyone should know my story and everyone should have heard me speak as much as I'm speaking, Strawberry Queen had never heard my story.
Really?
And yet her mission as a teenager,
Independent
of,
Nice.
and I love it whenever I see teenagers say, hey, enough is enough. We've got to do something to let people know that we're better than this.
Yeah, right.
And to not let this technology control us. And they're creating their own things.
Yeah.
And I love that.
That's awesome. We also had, Clover School District?
Yes. So,
New high school?
and I'm going to pull it up so I make sure I say it right, but Clover School District, they have Lake Wiley High School that is being built. And I was asked by school board member Tracy Stiff, you can reach out to her online or you can reach out to me or comment on this reel, but they are looking for any South Carolina prints or artwork that could be donated for the main entrance of Lake Wiley High School. I think that would be great to recognize all across the state of South Carolina. I've got a couple of paintings that I would like to go in there as well that I will be donating. But if y'all have anything that you could donate to represent South Carolina to Lake Wiley High School, please comment on this reel and we will put you in touch with who you need to get in touch with.
Yeah, good deal.
I think we might have us a winner on the song choice.
I mean, just me listening to Lil Wayne last night has inspired our...
Well, and the AI didn't make it too much Lil Wayne or too much 90s hip hop. It's kind of got that poppy sound without Saturday morning
or
afternoon special.
The Saved by the Bell type. Yeah, no kidding. So a lot of news this week coming out of the State House in regards to this next topic. The sine die resolution that we passed out does allow us to address the redrawing of congressional lines. That caused a lot of debate on the floor. It is a big issue. And, what was your take? What was your first sort of reaction to all this?
Well, I mean...
Because there was a procedural vote we had to take, right?
Yes.
We have to get sine die. We got to get that resolution done that gives us an endpoint to our session. So that's priority number one. In that resolution, there was also typical language about being able to come back and do a budget and those types of things. But what was also added was to allow us to look at redistricting the congressional seats.
Right.
And my first take was like, I was sort of like, is this necessary? Right? Because, and folks, this has nothing to do with partisanship. This has nothing to do with any sort of racial component for me or you, I know. For me, it's more of the timing of it because we are, a month away.
Yeah, I mean, we already had military personnel that have already mailed their ballots back.
Right. And so this is more of a process for me. Like, hey, we've got early voting beginning in like 2 weeks. We've got the June 9th primary literally 31 days away. And we're going to try to redistrict congressional seats. And folks, our own Senator Clymer here is running for
The 5th District.
The 5th District.
He's been
And-
spending time campaigning in what would now become the 6th.
Correct. And not only that, he's been spending money. So he's not only spending
donors.
his time, but he's spending, the money that he has raised for this run, which if we decide to change and redraw lines, you're going to have to start back at the beginning. And so it's just a problematic process. And again, I'm fine with looking at it.
As matter of fact, I think one of his opponents would actually be drawn out of the district.
Yes.
So they spent all of this money.
Yes.
And now they can't even run for that seat.
Yep. He's got a Democrat opponent.
And every one of those citizens that have donated
Correct.
have
Yeah.
legal ramifications to it.
Yep, and so there's that's one for me. It's how do we wait this late to now do this? 2 for me, it's more about math, right? So, and again, I'm going to spitball a number. Would you say our state is 57% Republican?
It is 45-55.
Okay, 45-55. So give or take 2-3 percentage points depending on the election.
But we have some districts that are 70-30.
Yeah. But generally, across the state, 55-45. Let's just generally just accept somewhere in that range, 2 percentage points. All right. So if our state typically votes on a 55-45 split Republican to Democrat, okay, that's fine. We, the Republicans, hold 6 of 7 congressional seats.
Mm-hmm.
That's around 86%. So Republicans are outperforming in our congressional districts better than a statewide general population of Republicans to Democrats. So, I mean, in a plus, like what, 30, 31% depending? And so by that alone, the math tells me, hey man, we've got some good candidates in good districts. And yes, Jim Clyburn, the lone Democrat, does have SC6, and that seems to be the point of contention. Right?
Well, I think the point of contention, and let's be honest, let's be real, this is being pushed from D.C. I don't think that there's any Republicans that oppose the Trump administration.
No.
And we would love to help the Trump administration in any way we can. Whenever this sine die resolution came up, you know, I immediately think that it could be bad. I think that it would backfire. But I've often argued against the administration or think that I know better only to see that I was the one that was wrong.
Right.
You know? So I've kind of taken that approach of, oh, well, until I get burned, then this is what we're going to do.
Right. Well,
But the map that we're not supposed to, you know, this map's not out. All of a sudden I get shown this map
yeah.
and I'm like, this is not it. Well, then as I'm talking to colleagues, they were saying, you know, oh, that can't be the map. The map's not out. And we're going to vote on redistricting ourselves as if we've got time over the next week or two to really redraw all these maps, which we don't. And I said, no, let's be real. Whatever the White House or the administration or the Republican Party from a national level sends us, that's what we're going to end up going with. We're going to say, nope, this is the map. They know best. Let's vote on it.
Yep.
And I'm not sure that if the map that I had was correct, that I believe in splitting York County.
Correct. And on a local level for us, we represent our people here in Rock Hill and Lake Wiley. Folks, if you haven't seen this map, it is out there. It has been circulated all over Twitter and social media. So
I have it posted on my page right now.
yeah, so if you haven't seen it, go check it out. It literally splits York County right up, 77? It looks like that's the line. Instead of going to the river, they use the interstate. And so you're cutting Rock Hill districts. One's going to the west, one's going to the east into different congressional seats. And so for us, that dilutes our voter base. You know, the 5th has traditionally been held by folks who live up this way.
John Spratt, Mick Mulvaney, Ralph Norman.
Yep, all coming from up here. And the 5th district, as it sits right now, from the Rock Hill area, you go west and gets over into Spartanburg County. So it's
Right up to the edge of Spartanburg County.
Yep, well, it gets into Spartanburg County, but not Spartanburg, the city. But it gets right up to that. Cherokee County, York, and then down Chester, Fairfield.
Part of Lancaster,
Yep.
Fairfield, goes all the way down to Sumter.
Yep, and it goes, which includes Camden. But this seat traditionally has been held by someone who lives right around this area. And
Because that's where the population base is.
yep, and frankly,
this
we want to keep it that way.
yeah, I mean, this new map, just looking at the York County area. Now, I'm counting the sliver of Lancaster County that is Indian land there.
Peninsula.
But this is pulling 100,000 voters of a strong Republican base
Into another.
into a different congressional district. It's putting, if someone from York County was to run, they're either on the edge of the 5th or the edge of the 6th, and the 5th goes all the way over to Pickens County, which is, I can't imagine trying to travel that.
Yeah, right.
Like it's not like you can take the interstate. You're gonna have to travel through other districts to even get to the other side of your district.
yeah.
And then on the 6th side, it's going all the way over through Florence. And I think that if you're looking at a map, you're gonna say, okay, well, someone around this area and someone around this area is gonna generate most of the population.
Yep.
And I think York County loses. Instead of having a seat at a table, that's what concerns me.
Yeah.
But so we had to vote on the sine die resolution, and we were told on the floor,
Yep.
if we don't vote on this, we do not have a sine die. The Senate sent it over with it on there.
Mm-hmm.
We must take a vote on it. And even though I didn't agree, I said, okay, I can agree with voting on the sine die resolution. But then you also have the threats, or maybe not threats, looking at the history of Indiana.
Yep.
When-
we just had Indiana state races
Yep.
of the senators who did not vote for the redrawing of the lines up there. And I think every one of the state senators that voted against it lost.
Correct.
Just this past Tuesday.
And I completely understand it could be detrimental to
You and
me
I.
political, you political,
Yep.
to go against. But at what point do we make decisions? Because we are elected to represent our area, not make decisions to represent Congress
Well,
or anything else.
yeah, and here's the thing. I mean, it just gets problematic for us because we're representing these districts that are now going to be, or communities that are getting split, and it will dilute the impact of this community in a congressional race.
Yes.
And we don't support that. And so we want to make a distinction here. What we voted for was a procedural vote to allow the redrawing of lines language in the sine die. So when we adjourn, we can come back, address budget, but also this issue if it comes up, right?
Correct.
And it will come up, folks. It's going to come up. But and let's talk about political reprisals here for a second, because you brought that up. Folks, look, I don't think I had, well, I know. I didn't have any plan to run for public office ever.
It was hell to get you to run to begin with.
Right. I've always just enjoyed supporting folks like Brandon Guffey and Wes Clymer and Ralph Norman and whoever in my recent, history of donating. Never thought I'd be here. Never had that plan. And so when I hear things about political reprisal, that just is, I don't understand it, because whether it's this administration or President Trump, I know why he's doing what he's doing, but I think the federal administration should trust state leaders that are here in our home state to give them real-world advice when it comes to redrawing of lines.
As a business owner,
Correct.
to me, this reminds me of corporate sending you spreadsheets and telling you that they know best whenever you're the one with boots on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
And I understand what the spreadsheets may look like. And people can say data doesn't lie, but data can certainly be twisted.
Yeah. And let's talk about that for a second. So the lines, so we voted on this procedural vote. The very next day on Thursday, there's a couple of bills to redraw the lines. And, there's not just a page or two. I mean, there's several, they're pretty thick.
Yeah.
That include maps. And the map that is impacting us has York County getting cut in two, which we've already talked about. And so those were filed and read across the desk. They've already had a judiciary subcommittee on Friday, which
Yep.
passed out.
I listened to that while signing high school letters.
Yep. And again, this thing of fear of political reprisal, that's unfortunate. I don't like that kind of rhetoric and dialogue. I hope that our administration, current administration, the Trump administration, I hope if you and I vote no, look, if they want to come after us, they're going to come after us. But
sorry.
I want to say, folks, for normal folks like me and you, when I look at the top 10 priorities, fear of political reprisal from anyone ain't on it, okay? I'm worried about being a good dad. I'm worried about being a good husband. I've been married for 22 years, and for folks who've been married for that amount of time, you know, it's need constant work and maintenance. You know what I mean? And so those are on my priority list. Making sure that of the 200 employees or so that we have, making sure we got enough to feed their families. Making sure that we're making ends meet. I got 2 special needs kids. I got to make sure that when I retire, I've got enough saved up that they're taken care of. And so when we talk about, I think perspective is needed here, because for ordinary folks like Representative Guffey and I, political reprisal, I mean, we got a lot of problems, but that ain't one. You know what I mean?
I got 99 problems.
It just isn't. And again, I know as I'm saying this, it may be unpopular. And it may be received up in D.C. as, who's that asshole?
Or it may be twisted by locals that just don't like you.
Right. But
As if you're anti-administration, and that's not the case.
We're not. But we are here to represent our people. And it's not in our best interest to vote on a map that splits our communities into 2 congressional districts.
I agree with that. And I will also say, as you were talking about, the political reprisals, if we are looking at the people that were testifying in that committee hearing, 99, maybe 100% Democrat?
Oh, yeah.
If you think that spreading the narrative that this is being done for racial gerrymandering, or this is being done specifically to take votes away from a particular ethnic group,
Right.
not really listening to that either. I don't believe that. I believe that this is political strategy,
Yep.
which we are a 2-party system. We saw what they did in Virginia. No, none of the Democrats that are complaining here were complaining whenever they did that in Virginia.
No, not at all.
You know, it was whatever's going to get you ahead in the political party.
Yeah.
And I completely understand the administration saying, hey, if we can make this 7-0, let's do it. But whenever I look at this map, I'm saying, and regardless of what these stats show from a presidential election, I still don't know that I believe those numbers. I want to run them myself over the weekend. But I still want to make sure that what we are doing, because we were elected to represent the best interests of York County and our district first. You know, there's that old adage of you take care of your home first and you give the shirt off your back in the community, and then you take care of your community. But if it's going to harm your family or your immediate need, then you can't do it.
Yeah, I mean, look, when we were freshmen, we were told during our orientation, folks, you never received 1 vote in Columbia, right? So whatever district you're representing, you've got to listen to your people. And while it may be politically unpopular to vote no, as of right now, and it's, Saturday before we go back on a Tuesday,
Yeah.
that's just where I'm at. And as politically unfortunate as that is, that's the job. And as we do, we try to keep it as real as possible. We try to be transparent with our people. And look, if that costs me an election, so be it.
Well,
like I said, I mean, we've got problems, but this isn't one for us.
We learned our freshman year, and it was a vote that was very unpopular in our area. And, it was the point that I struggled. And at that point, I voted based on what was best politically for me instead of what I knew in my heart. And I made a promise from that point. I can't do that. If I ever make a decision based on my next election, as opposed to what I think is best for my community,
Right.
then I don't need to be in office anymore.
100%. I've told people before I'd rather be able to walk around my community, my neighborhood, my main street in downtown Rock Hill, and folks know that I've got their back than to go down and sit in a seat in the State House.
Yeah.
I would rather be credible. I would rather be a good faith member of this community and representing us than if it costs me an election, it costs me an election. So
Well, and I would argue right now we have an ineffective Congress. For
Correct.
the issues that I'm trying to do to protect children, I feel like we have an ineffective Congress.
Yeah.
And so why am I just trying to make it more ineffective? Is this going to make things move?
Yeah.
Like, is there any advantage versus what I'm able to do here?
Right. And here's the irony of all of this. This came at us in the last 2 weeks of the session. I never heard.
I mean, we only had a day really to discuss.
Yeah. I mean, this was a turd in the pool, so to speak. Like, do we want to deal with this issue? Do we want to take this up? I don't even know how the hell we got here. I mean, I get the national politics of California redrawing, Virginia redrawing, now Texas redrawing, Florida's trying to redraw. I get the math that they're trying to deal with. Again, for me, it comes down to the timing of it. It's less, we got 30 days before primary, math, and that's just it for me. And especially because it cuts York County. The line comes right through. And that's not good for our community. So right now, again, that's why I'm a no.
Yeah.
And I don't even want to be in this situation.
Not
right?
to mention we have other problems like Joe Wilson and Clyburn are now in the same district.
Yep. Yeah. And this map's got Myrtle Beach all the way down and picks up all the way down to James Island.
Yeah.
In I believe
Charleston.
Was that SC3 now or whatever it is. But
in Russell Fry's district.
But again, we're redrawing lines way too late in the game. While it can be politically advantageous for Republicans, again, it's just bad timing. And for us, the local issue of York County getting split, we can't support it. And so while we try to support this administration and our president, when it negatively impacts our communities, we just can't do it.
Yeah, and look, I'm going to be honest. We always try to call balls and strikes. Whenever Jordan Pace and other members were calling to redistrict, if we would have done it then and went through the process, but at that time we were told, no,
right,
we don't want you to move. And so we're the bad guys for not wanting to redistrict then, and then we wait until the last 2 weeks of session to where it's rushed and we got to extend primaries. I think it would open up lawsuits for all of our state races. I think our primaries will get extended.
And not to mention the cost to the taxpayer.
Correct. Was $3 million just for the election? Just to extend the primary loans, $3 million.
Yeah. And so again, while we may be in the minority on this vote.
And we could go 7-0.
We could.
But it doesn't mean that we will. We could go 5-2.
Yeah. Or worse, 4-3.
Yeah. I mean, if you look back at the first congressional district, the last time we redistricted, Clyburn's district got bluer, so the first could get redder.
Yes.
And in my opinion, we redrew the maps at that time to ensure that we had more dominance from the Republican Party.
Yeah.
I think we were just one of the first to get the maps right.
Right.
And, we might have secured Clyburn's seat as being a solid Democrat district. But if you go back and look, it used to be Joe Cunningham that represented SC1.
Yeah, SC1 was always sort of a toss-up.
Yeah.
And
now we made it more red.
Yep. After the 2020 census, I think it was roughly around 30,000 folks went over into SC6, which is held by Jim Clyburn. And that in that redraw, SC1, which is now held by Nancy Mace, got a little redder. Jim Clyburn's seat in SC6 got a little bluer. And so, as Representative Guffey said, 6 out of 7 ain't bad. That's 86% of our congressional seats are held by Republicans in a state that is only 55% Republican. So, I think we're doing a good job. And those maps that we redrew from 2020 have been upheld in court. They're constitutional. They have withstood a racially gerrymandered court challenge, and the court said that they're legit, they're good, and like I said, I don't know, can't support the effort of what we're doing.
Well, and if this was next session, I don't even know that I agree with it then, but I could see it doing that.
Yeah.
Because the last census was 2020. We're redoing it in 2030.
Yeah.
And we've got to redraw all the maps at that time. So are we doing this just for this midterm election? And historically,
I was about to say, not
the
to mention,
midterm swing,
whatever party holds the White House,
yes,
the midterms always go against them. That's the traditional sort of pendulum swing that always occurs. And so that's a good point. This is bad timing for Republicans. There is going to be more Democrat participation.
Yeah, it's just firing up the base.
As the stats say, or tell us, there's going to be more Democrat participation in these midterm elections. So we do have to work hard to get conservatives and Republicans out. But typically, these elections, these midterms swing against whoever holds the White House. And so while we're trying to redraw in that sort of trend, it doesn't bode well.
And I think that even on our state level seats, every single Republican has a Democrat challenger right now.
Yeah.
We have many purple districts that for the first time, I think Lieber flipped his district, which is now Teeples, for the first time in history to Republican. Fon Petalino flipped her district to Republican.
Yep.
You know, and as we've got these districts that we started to win that would say are purple districts.
Yeah.
Now we're saying, okay, give us a challenger in every House district, give us $5 gas prices, and let's extend the election and reopen it up.
Yep.
I think that, and then rally a base that I think will end up costing us House seats just by having the conversation.
Right. And man, that's an excellent point. It's bad timing all around. And folks, pay attention to what the Senate does next week. They are scheduled, I believe, to take this up on Tuesday. If you don't think Democrats are just giddy, watch the vote.
Yeah.
Because as I told House members, I said, y'all may be coming up to the well and speaking against this sine die resolution that allows us to redraw, but y'all are popping champagne in the back room.
Yep.
And watch what the Senate does. Watch what especially the Senate Democrats do. Because when they all come out and support this effort, that should be a telltale sign of what we're going to see in November.
I agree 100%. And, stick with us. Let the chips fall where they may. But
Yeah.
at the end of the day, we are elected to represent our area. And it might not, we might not agree with even other members of the delegation. I haven't really talked to other members. But, I feel like, and I could be wrong, but I feel like it will negatively impact York County and the influence that we have always had on a congressional level. I feel like our voice will be diluted.
I agree. And despite what our local GOP always says, we try to maintain integrity with what we're saying and how we vote. And as unpopular as this may be to say, that's the kind of leaders we are. And while it's unpopular, we got to say it. And just to wrap this up and put a button on it, we cannot support the map that divides York County and dilutes the impact that we have in congressional elections for SC5.
Agreed.
Pints and politics. We up here. Showtime.
Showtime.
Let's go. Pints in my
Closing time.
I know, man. We got 1 week officially left. No, we're coming back, but next week's going to be hectic, crazy, busy. I know I got some floor responsibilities.
That's if we pass sine die. What happens if we don't pass sine die? Everything dies?
Hey,
anything in conference committee is done.
Oh, boy. Well, look forward to next week, folks. It's going to be, stay in your seats, right? We're going to be voting fast and furious
I got to
get
bring some
things
dip
through.
so I don't smoke.
We're going to get a lot of unanimous consent requests to bring bills from the ether onto the House floor. One programming note, do want to let you guys know that we have a tradition now of doing this podcast at USC's School of Hospitality and Tourism Management.
The Bev Lab.
At the Beverage Lab. Happy to report we will be having their Garnet Lager. So it's the Bev Lab's own beer, which is going to be exciting. We'll have a few snacks there for folks who want to come and join us. But we will be having thoughtful discussions and conversations with Speaker of the House Merle Smith, also our acting Attorney General Alan Wilson, who is also a Republican candidate for our next governor. And we will also have Senator Stephen Goldfinch, who is a candidate for
Attorney General.
So we'll have those guests and probably much, much more. So, stay tuned for that. Listen up, support that episode. And man, hang on to your shorts next week.
Shorts?
I'm
wearing sneakers, but I don't know if I can get away with shorts.
I look forward to bringing the session to an end.
Hey, Broglow sponsors us. I will wear some shorts.
So, thanks for tuning into this episode. Please like, subscribe.
And follow us. Hit all the buttons on the side. And follow us on pintsandpolitics.show.
Yep.
Thank y'all once again for all the support. We're continuing to grow every week.
Yep.
And let's thank our sponsor, Comer Distributing. Been with us since day one, 91 episodes now.
Yeah.
And today's pint.
VOODOO Ranger Hard Charge Tea. Man, it tasted like tea to me.
Yep.
So, folks, if you are going to enjoy this beverage, make sure you keep count because these could sneak up on you.
I drank the one without ice, and I was like, oh, that's a little strong. I need to put some ice. Sweet tastes good, but it literally tastes like tea. So
it's
tell
sweet.
the alcohol content.
Yep. So,
And one more thing. We have 2 sponsorships open right now. Mm-hmm. If you, your company, your organization would like to sponsor, reach out to us. Because I have a feeling with some things that are coming up in the future, it might be a little too late.
We have several projects in the works. We want to bring more transparency to government. We are working on doing that. This is just a little teaser. We haven't buttoned up all the details yet, but as we do it, we will announce it on the episodes.
Yeah. And we have some national companies that are interested in it.
Yep. So thank you all. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next week.
Thank you.